Hello, welcome to Monday Morning Matters live broadcast show brought to you by Magnicraft Consulting Team, anchored by Niyi Dunmade, a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S. Here, each Monday of every week, we address important, relevant, and actionable topics of interest that will help you and your church grow healthier. And now, meet your host, Niyi Dunmade.
Welcome. I welcome you to this live broadcast show. Thank you for hooking up with us on Monday Morning Matters. I'm so glad to come your way this morning, this beautiful morning. It's raining in the city of Abuja this morning, and today is, how will I put it now, is we are having some democratic transition, okay? My name is Niyi Dunmade. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. It's the last Monday of the month of May, and we're going to the last month of the second quarter. All right, so happy to connect with you. Happy to start your morning today with Monday Morning Matters. Welcome everyone to this Facebook Live and YouTube channel. We also want to thank you for hooking up with us. Thank you for commenting. We've been talking on last four months, the switch between control and growth. And I want to tell you a little bit about the organizers of who are bringing this to us. We're glad you're part of this live broadcast. So I mentioned my name earlier, that I'm Niyi Dunmade. I'm the founder and CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. Before I go into the juice, I just want to tell you what Magnicraft Consulting is all about, okay? Magnicraft Consulting is a church consulting firm that helps local churches grow, become healthier through empirical assessment, trainings, and strategic blueprints. Our vision is to be the leading church health consultancy that creates actionable, sustainable, adaptable solution. I'm also a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S., also a certified church consultant with Church Consultation University. I'm your host to the weekly Facebook Live broadcast show every Monday, 7 a.m. It's been on for almost 5 years. I'm also known as the Church Health Guide of the 21st century. A big thank you to everyone who has been commenting, reaching out to us, telling us how timely our broadcast content is. I want to thank you for reaching out to us. Thank you so much. Today is a very peculiar day in the history of Nigeria. We are going to have some democratic transition from one democratic leader to another democratic leader. And I want you to just pray along with us that we have a smooth, safe transition from one democratic leader, to another. Now, let's do some promo before we go into the juice of the day. If you missed part 1, 2, 3, 4 of this series, the switch between control and growth, I will gladly want you to revisit it. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. You can go there to get the content that you want. And perhaps if you are not getting any content, that will let us know that you want some more content from us, and we'll be willing to give you any content that you need so that you'll be able to grow your church, grow yourself, and be able to make sure that your church is healthy. Okay, let's go briefly into the stages of the life cycle of the church. And I want to say quickly that we need to wrap up this. Let me just go into my desktop, and then possibly I will show you some good stuff today. So desktop, good. All right. So that is it. The church life cycle, the typical church life cycle. We have the birth. Okay, around here is the birth. We have the infancy. We have toddler. We have teenager. We have young adult. And then these are the adults. Then we have aging. We have decline, and then we have death or dropout and death. Okay, those are the stages of typical church. We have 7 stages. We have the launch stage where there's so much of dreams, so much of vision, so much of excitement. People are coming together. Then you begin to invite your friends in stage 2, where you now have some momentum growth. People want to invite their friends the more. Then there's some form of new people coming, front door activities are coming, and then you begin to put structure and system in place for the stage 3, which is strategic growth. And once the church begins to grow further into sustained health, we begin to multiply people. And that's the core of what God wants. God doesn't want you to have a church that is subtracting. God doesn't want you to have a church that is adding. He wants you to have a church and a ministry that is multiplying. You can see that happening in the Act of Apostles. And then focus on vision and vision. And then the other side, which has to do with decline, which is maintenance, preservation, decline, and then life support. They are all as a result of so much of decline as a result of what is going on in the back door. So we can see that this is above mouthfuls of blessed memory, telling us the mix between vision, relationship, management, and programs over the life cycle of a congregation. Because at infancy, at birth, there was so much of vision. Then as people come in, there's relationship fused in, and then during the teenage and young adult and teenage level, they said doing some programs together. And then when you get to maturity, you have all these 4. That's vision, relationship, programs, and management together. Vision is a product of leadership. So at this point, there's so much of leadership. At this point, there's so much of management. What kills the church is when there's no management at all, that leads to death. So at this side, you can see, because management is augmenting the gravity of what leadership is meant to provide. So you have so much of programs, and then at the point when you get to the drop-up stage, you don't have the finance to be able to project those programs anymore. Now the thing is, at this side of the decline side of the life cycle of Bellevue curve, you can see that once you are getting a nosedive towards approaching death, the first thing to do is to create a renewal. That's what we call revitalization in totality. All this that happens here is revitalization. The first thing is renewal. And as the church is going towards decline, you need to begin to refocus the more. And then as you refocus, as it's going down, you need to re-engineer, okay, or re-envisioning. And that's what happens when you want to, instead of going back to what happened in your youthful days, you want to go back to what happened in your infant days. Because the thing is, what brings about the decline is because you are not willing to embrace the infancy of a new level. And so as we go into the retirement stage, you begin to create revival. Okay, I mentioned the first thing: renewal, refocus, re-engineering, or re-envisioning. Then we're now going to revival. Now, when the church gets to death, then you have to restart. So those are the 5 things I want to say that is going on here at the other side of the Bellevue curve. And this just to portray some of the things that above Morphos mentioned, that when you are at the bed phase, there's a mix. The mix I want to bring out here is that the control is strong when the church is small. Okay, and as the church goes to adulthood, you need to let go. You can't be changing pampers for someone who is an adult or who knows his left from his right. You have to begin to release control. If you don't release control, then you begin to micromanage, which will now push you to the other side of this Bellevue curve. So I just want to let you know that control, you can't have control and growth at the same time. You can't have what? Control and growth at the same time. You cannot have control and growth at the same time. One has to give way, and that has to do with control. So control is something that you have to let go for growth, for the expression of your church. And the thing is, a pastor can only lead a church to 100, 150 but then you have to be able to delegate some authority, delegate some control, accountability, responsibility to people who are going to show the kind of care that you show to people for your church to be able to expand. Okay, for your church to grow large or big, the leader must be willing to release control. And so there are dangers when a pastor desires to hold on to control of a church. The pastor's control risks are there, and we need to be aware of it. Is either you embrace that risk, and then you are the other side of the Bellevue diagram, and that is not what we desire. That's not what God desires. A pastor desires to hold on to control of a church can lead to several potential dangers. We're going to mention some of the dangers today, and that's one has to do with stagnation. When a pastor insists on maintaining control, they may resist new ideas, new innovation, because what happens is all the renewal, re-engineering, revival, restarting, all those revitalization concepts are mentioned will not take place when there's no innovation. You cannot evolve. You cannot change. Okay, so when you have you maintain a control as a leader, you may resist new ideas or resist changes that could be beneficial to your church, that will be beneficial to the growth of your church, and that will lead to stagnation. That will lead to decline, where the church fails to grow and adapt to new circumstances. You see, the relevance of your church to the new to the things that are evolving culturally is dependent on your innovative ideas you can bring on the table. And when that stagnation brings about a lot of stress. So second one has to be burnout. A pastor who tries to hold on to control in every aspect of the church may quickly become overwhelmed. Burnout, stress, leading to a lot of mental issues. So this can harm the church health mentally, spiritually, physically, and entire well-being. And ultimately, because the thing is, if it hurts the pastor, it's going to hurt the church. There's no how. The health of your church is dependent on the health of the leaders who are leading the church. So if it hurts the pastor, it's going to ultimately hurt the church. That's the second one, burnout, stress in your church. The third one has to do with conflict. Okay, a pastor who insists on controlling everything. You are just there telling the choir what to sing, telling the ushers what to do. You are just controlling everything, can create conflict, because you can't juggle human beings together. You can create within the church. People will begin to understand different aspects of the concept that you have, because you are putting up everything together from your head. And so you're going to create conflict within the church, as members may feel marginalized and frustrated because they want to please you, they want to deliver results, they want to make sure that the outcome of the instructions you are giving out are delivered. This can lead to division in the church. Okay, cliques, resentment, and even all kinds of silos that are going on in the church. So conflict, and there's a level of conflict that is held in the church, but when it's an offshoot of control or micromanaging, that kind of conflict is not healthy. Okay, number 4 has to be lack of accountability. Lack of accountability. If a pastor insists on holding on to control, they may resist effort to hold them accountable. Okay, those pastors who love to hold on to control usually don't want people to hold them accountable for their actions. And so this can lead to unethical behaviors, this can lead to financial mismanagement, this can lead to other forms of abuse, because as a church is starting, you don't tell the church how much is coming in, but as your church is growing out, you have to be accountable to the people. You have to be accountable to some set of people that you can say that these actions that you have done, you are responsible for these actions. So lack of accountability is one of the risks that you have to deal with in the church. Okay, the last one has to do with failures to delegate. Okay, when a pastor who wants to maintain and hold on to control may be reluctant to delegate. You see, one of the things I've seen about control freaks is that they don't like to delegate authority. Let me go back to the beginning. They don't like to delegate tasks and responsibility with commensurable authority to others. Okay, this is very, very bad. This can lead to burnout for the pastor, because you are giving out instructions every time, and you are preventing other members of the church from using their talent, using their gifts, using their potentials to contribute to the church growth and development. The thing is, if you, as a pastor who is holding on to control, you might not be able to know the best fit of what's going on in other areas of the church. So sometimes it's advisable to allow the choir to take initiative, allow and then report back. Allow some of these groups, smaller groups in your church, to take the initiative so that you can begin to grow on every side. Because the thing is, what brings about church growth is not you growing, is everyone in the church coming together to make up the church is growing. All right. Overall, a pastor who desires to hold on to control of a church can create significant risk for the church health and well-being. And so it's important for the pastor to be open to collaboration, because your sustainability as a church is dependent on how much you are able to collaborate and delegate, and then to prioritize the growth and the well-being of your church over your own desires to control every damn thing that happens in the church. And I think I'm running up with this so much. Let's do some promo and then we will call it a day. I think we've done some good justice today, and then we'll call it a day. Thank you. All right, let's do some brief promo from us to you, and then we'll call it a day. We just rounded up the switch between control and growth, and then Dr. Tom Rayner, a fantastic church consultant, a mentor of mine, good friend of mine. He is willing to offer 40% discount to us in Africa if you want to become a certified church consultant to help your own church, to help revitalize other churches. Reach out to me in any of the social media handles. I'll be able to give you that tip on how to become a certified church consultant. So please, I know some people who are willing to start churches, and then they went through this material and they said, no, these things are needed and it's going to help me in planting a healthy church. I can tell you the information are they are very good. They can help to transform your church around, and that is very, very important to be able to help also as other churches as well. And then next month, the month of June, we're going to look at a checklist that will help you to be prepared for emergency, and then the church emergency preparedness checklist. We're going to, what happens when you have fire, you have earthquake, you have tornado, you have unforeseen disruptions in your church. What do you do? What are the things to put on the list to make sure? That's the next thing we're going to talk on next week, and then next month. Then by 10 o'clock, very, very excited about the 10X Church Growth Masterclass. I'm going to be sharing some very, very, very powerful tools that will help you grow your church with a multiplicative effect. So I'm going to do 10X Church Growth Masterclass, and it's free, but you have to register so that the Zoom meeting link will be sent to you. Some people have already registered. We've sent those Zoom link to them. It's 2 hours today. Shortly, we're going to help you understand the concept of 10X over just doubling your church. We're going to also give you some free books. Please don't go away. By 10 o'clock, we're going to have some good dive into the training content of 10X Church Growth Masterclass. I'll be handling that, and that will be fantastic to have you around in that masterclass. Thank you so much for that. And then my book is also available, Church Retention, Pathway to Growth. It's been massive with a lot of people buying that book. It's going to transform your life. I wrote that book out of my personal experience, and that will help you become a church growth expert. Okay, that's that. And then go on my YouTube to be able to get some good content on how to grow your church in no time. So you have any church related questions for me, please feel free to reach out to me with any of your questions, inquiries. Let's have them in any of the social media handles, and I will be glad to give you more than an answer, and then also help you move on to your so please feel free to share on all our social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Please, this video has been helpful to you. Give us a like, does the thumbs up. Do share us to your community. Drop us a comment. I would love to hear from you. I would love to learn from you. Please drop us a comment in the comment section, and then you will get a response from me. We do consultations, we do revitalization, we do trainings, we do strategic planning. My calendar is a bit busy. You may have to just call me on the number of the screen so that you can be able to know the days that are free for us to come to your church, or you come to a venue where we can do trainings, consultation, revitalization, and strategic planning. Reach out to us so that we can help you move your church from where it is right now to where it should be in God. We provide excellent church consulting for health, vitality, and result. Till I come your way next week, Monday, next month, June 2023, with a continuation. I've said it earlier. Next week, I say bye-bye. I love you, and God bless you. Thank you so much for listening.